CRO is nothing but electronic voltmeter only. In general, voltmeter is used to get the voltage. In general, voltmeter is used to measure the voltage. It may be AC voltage or DC voltage. If you want to measure the DC voltage, we need to use DC voltmeter. If you want to measure the AC voltage or RMS value of the AC signal, then we need to use the AC voltmeter. And here CRO is nothing but by using CRO we can able to measure the values of the only voltage signals. We cannot able to go for the current signals. So it is nothing but electronic voltmeter only. We cannot able to measure the current directly. So it is nothing but just electronic voltmeter. And by using normal voltmeter we cannot able to observe the AC signal, but by using the CRO it can able to display the voltage signals, AC voltage signal and DC voltage also we can able to observe by using this one. And by observing the signal we can able to get the values of the voltage, time period and frequency of the signal we can able to obtain by using this one. That's why it is nothing but electronic voltmeter only. In the heart of the CRO is nothing but CRT, cathode ray tube. And if you see the internal structure of the CRO, it will be like this. It is nothing but CRT, what I have told you for this one, and it is the heart of the CRO. Here cathode will be there. By heating this one, large amount of heat has to be required for this one. By using this one, the electron beams are coming due to the pre-accelerating anode and accelerating anodes. The electron beam will be going, and it is the front view of the CRO. Exactly this electron beam will be striking at the center of the CRO without application of any voltage. And this screen is made up of the phosphorus material, because the phosphorus material is having the property of the fluorescence. Fluorescence in the sense, after striking the electron beam, after striking the screen, the electron beam after certain time also it will be display the electron beams part. That's why it is called fluorescence material. And for that purpose only we are going to use this one by using the phosphorus material. Next, in this CRT we can able to observe inside vertical deflection plates and horizontal deflection plates. It is two-dimensional display. So in order to indicate each and every point on the two-dimensional display, we have to move vertically and we have to move horizontally. These horizontal deflection plates can be used for, these horizontal deflection plates are used to move the electron beam part vertically, and these horizontal deflection plates are used to move the electron beam horizontally. So by using this one, vertical movement is there. By using this one, horizontal movement is there. So by using these two we can able to move any point on the CRO screen. Like that the two-dimensional signals can be displayed on the CRO screen. Next, already I have told about this vertical deflection plates and horizontal deflection plates mechanism. Next, how to apply the signal to the CRO we will see. In order to apply the signal, first we need to get the signal. In order to get the signal, we need to use signal generator or function generator. It is nothing but signal generator or function generator. By using this one, at most we can able to generate the periodic signals, and here symbol is also given. Square wave we can able to generate, sine wave we can able to generate, triangle wave we can able to generate. Here I have given the sine wave, and with the required amplitude and required frequency we can able to generate the signals. Here I have given 1 kHz frequency. That means the time period of the signal will be 1 millisecond, inverse of the frequency. So here 1 millisecond time period I have set. By using this knob I can able to select the amplitude also. So required amplitude, required frequency or time period can be selected by using this one, and required signal also can be selected. So by using this one we can able to generate the input signals for our amplifiers or something for different circuits. So here positive is there, negative is there. This positive, negative we have to give to the CRO. Here in this CRO, channel 1 is available, channel 2 is available. Because two channels are available, we can able to observe the two signals at a time on the CRO screen. But for these two signals only one time knob is available. The meaning is, here for voltage y-axis are different for these two signals, but only one time axis is there. So if you want to move the one signal horizontally, the second signal will also be moved, because only one time axis is available, but two voltage axes are available. That's why here y position 1 is there, here y position 2 is there. So in order to move the first signal vertical movement we are using this one, and in order to move the second signal vertical movement we are using this one. But if you want to change any signal horizontally, the second signal will also be moved by using this X position now. And whatever the signal we have obtained from the function generator or signal generator, that we are connecting to channel 1 or channel 2. If you connect like this by using this probe, then we can able to observe that signal on the CRO screen. If you see here, we have generated here sinusoidal signal of certain amplitude and certain time period. Here I will tell how to calculate time period and peak to peak voltage also. So here we have selected sinusoidal signal, and here sinusoidal signal has been displayed. If you press here triangle symbol, then triangle signal will be displayed of required amplitude and required time period. If you press here square wave will be generated. So by using these knobs and this display is available for the frequency, we can able to select the required time period and required frequency also. So in this manner we have selected different. In this manner we can able to apply the signal to the CRO, and that signal will be selected. Generator sensor signal that we are observing here by connecting whatever the output we have getting from the function generator, that we have connecting to it is channel 1. So we are observing here one signal, and how to calculate the peak to peak voltage and time period we will see here. If you observe here, here different some boxes are there vertically and horizontally, and it is x-axis and it is y-axis. On x-axis always time will be there, on y-axis voltage will be there, and we will find now how to calculate the peak to peak voltage of this signal. So if you see here, if you change this y position, the signal is moving vertically. So in this way I have set it. Next, by changing the amplitude of the function generator knob, here we can able to reduce the amplitude and we can able to increase the amplitude. So now how many boxes are occupied vertically for the signal you need to observe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 boxes vertically are occupied, and on the y-axis, vertical axis, we can have the voltage. So each voltage is how much, each division is how much voltage means. If you see this channel 1, here 2 is indicated. That means it is indicated this range is for volt per division and this range is for millivolts per division. That means each division is equal to 2 volts. Here we have 5 divisions. That means each division is 2 volts means the total voltage is 10 volts is there. 10 volts peak to peak voltage is there. And how to calculate the time period means, if you see this signal now, adjust this x position in order to get the in order to find the time period. And I have already said that on the x-axis time is there. So in between two peaks of the signal, how many boxes are occupied means here only one box is occupied. That means one division is there. So if you see the time now, here it is milliseconds range, it is microseconds range. Milliseconds per division, it is microseconds per division. So each division is equal to here 1 millisecond. So here how many divisions are there horizontally? Only one division is there. So 1 into 1 means 1 millisecond time period is there. Already we have given here 1 kilohertz frequency. That means compulsory here we should get a 1 millisecond time period only. That also we have calculated. If you get the time period, we can able to find the frequency also by inversing the time period. So this is about how to calculate a voltage and time period or frequency of the signal. In AC mode present in CRO, suppose if you take one experiment like this, I am taking a transistor as a switch circuit. So transistor can be using as a switch actually, but not perfect switch. So here input signal we are applying, here output signal we are taking. The input signal I am taking as one square wave peak to peak voltage 10 volts, for example 10 volts, and time period is 1 millisecond I am taking. If you apply this signal to the transistor, and we know that when higher voltage is applied to the base of the NPN transistor, it will go to the saturation region. Whenever you are applying negative voltage at the base of the NPN transistor, that will go to the cutoff region. So that, and we are going to get the output signal is like this. In this way we are going to get the output signal. This is the output signal at collector, and this is the input voltage which you are applying from the function generator. This is the input signal, this is the output signal. If you observe these two signals, this is square wave, this is also square wave, but this square wave positive portion is how much is the negative portion is also same area is available. That's why it is called pure AC signal. But if you see here, entire signal is above the x-axis only, so there is no negative peak for this signal, and it is said to be pulsating DC signal. That means it is containing AC components and DC components. How much DC is available means this line is indicating the DC present in the this signal. That means it is having certain DC content. Its DC content is not equal to 0. If you see the input signal, since it is pure AC signal, its DC value is equal to 0. That means we can able to see this input signal in DC mode or AC mode. So if you want to see this one in the AC mode, no problem, because it is AC signal only. If you want to see this one in the DC mode, again you will get the same signal because its DC is equal to 0. But whenever you are seeing this output signal, the signal is not pure AC signal, it is pulsating DC signal. AC content is there, DC content is there. So in in order to observe this signal, compulsory we have to see in the DC mode only. What is the advantage of DC mode means, if you see the signal in the DC mode, you are going to get the same signal on the CRO screen, that is above the x-axis only. But if you see the signal in the AC mode, then what will happen means, positive portion, negative portion will be equal. This is wrong also, because whenever the transistor is going to the cutoff region here, whenever the transistor is going to the cutoff region, actually for this position it will go into the saturation region. So we will get output like this, starting from here. This way we will get. Whenever it is going to the saturation region, low voltage will get. Its voltage compulsory 0.2 volts only for silicon based transistor, but here you are going to get negative voltage when you put in AC mode. So compulsory we should keep the CRO in the DC mode only while observing the DC signals. That means if any signal is containing DC value, we have to see the signal in DC mode only for the CRO. If you see the output signal, if you see the signal which is which is having the DC value, if you see in the AC mode, then the output will be like this. We are going to get wrong values. So compulsory we have to see the signal in the DC mode only where DC is available. For that purpose, first you need to know about the theory of the circuit. If you know the theory, then you can able to understand what is DC, what is AC, in which signal DC is available, in which signal AC is available. So when the signal is in DC mode, you need to observe the signal in the DC mode only. If you see in the AC mode, you are going to get wrong values. Okay, that is the purpose of the DC mode. Next, we will see about the XY. First, we will see the same thing in the here by using this function generator. Almost we are going to generate every time this pure AC signal only. So, if you see this one, we have given the signal to. While observing any signal on the CRO screen, first we have given the signal we have given to the channel 2. First, what you need to do means while measuring the values, first you need to put here ground symbol. If it is exactly grounded or not, we have to see. If it is exactly not grounded, then we have to adjust that one by changing this Y position. Now it is exactly grounded. Now you release this ground button. Then purpose, when the signal is containing DC value, we have to see the particular signal in the compulsory in DC mode only. If you see in DC mode, then only you are going to get a correct answer. Next, we will see about XY mode. What is XY mode? We will see. It is first input port. This is output port. The input port voltage is V1. Output port voltage is input port voltage is V1. Input current is I1. Output port voltage is V2 and output current is I2. Here actually 4 variables are there. We can able to get the input characteristics and we can able to get the output characteristics. Input characteristics means the graph is in between input voltage and input current. Output characteristics is nothing but the graph is in between output voltage and output current. Whenever you want transfer characteristics, transfer in the sense that cannot be done at input, transfer is nothing but that cannot be done at output. Transfer is nothing but that is from input to output. That means one variable is required from input side and one variable is required from the output side. So input characteristics means the graph is in between two input variables. Output characteristics means the graph is in between two output variables. Transfer characteristics means since the transferring can be done from input to output, one input variable and one output variable is required. In general, we will take on x-axis input signal, that is Vi, and on y-axis we will take output signal V0. So for this one, I will give one transfer characteristic equation. Depending on that, we have to draw the transfer characteristics. These transfer characteristics can be obtained by using CRO also, by keeping the CRO in the XY mode. How it is possible, you see. For example, I will give one equation. Actually, this equation is coming from the Clipper circuit only, and I will give that equation directly. So V0 is equal to 0.6 volts. This 0.6 volts is the continuous voltage of the diode. We are getting the output voltage is equal to 0.6 volts whenever input voltage is greater than 0.6 volts. Next, output voltage is equal to input voltage only when input voltage is less. This is the transfer characteristic equation. By using this one, you can able to draw here transfer characteristic curve. If you see this equation, it is having only two variables, Vi and V0. So on x-axis I have taken Vi, on y-axis I have taken V0. So it is positive x-axis, so here 0 is available. Here suppose at certain voltage, at certain point I have taken 0.6. On y-axis I am taking here 0.6. According to this one, whenever input voltage is greater than 0.6 volts, that is this one, output voltage is 0.6 only. That means when you take 0.7, output is 0.6 0.6. When you take 2 volts, the output is again 0.6 only. So in this way you are going to get one constant curve like this. But whenever input is less than 0.6, that means 0.5, 0.2, 0, minus 2, minus 5, but output is equal to input only. If you take input is 0.5, output is 0.5. Input is 0, output is 0. Input is minus 2, output is minus 2. So input is equal to output in the sense this is representing the linearity characteristics. So we are going to get the graph is like this. Okay, this is representing the transfer characteristics of the one particular circuit. That may be clipper or something else that is not required to us. But how to get the characteristics by using CRO we have to learn. So this is nothing but transfer characteristics because on x-axis input is there and on y-axis output is there. So in general, by using CRO we are measuring the voltage signal values. That means the voltage signal is changing from with respect to time action. Here if you take voltage signal, VA signal or V0 signal, whatever it may be, one voltage signal that is changing with respect to time. On x-axis time is available. So if you see the CRO, we have voltage, volts per division, channel 1, channel 2 are available, but only one time knob is there. That means all these voltage signals are changing with respect to time. But in case of XY mode, here time is not there on the x-axis. In case of XY mode, we have input voltage signal on the x-axis and output voltage signal on y-axis. So whenever you are keeping the CRO in the XY mode, time knob will not work. So if you change the time knob, whenever the CRO is present in the XY mode, time knob will not work. If you want to move the signal horizontally, you need to change input signal. If you want to move the signal vertically, you need to change output signal. This one we will observe on the CRO screen now. So this is input signal. What is changing on the screen is nothing but input signal. That is one sinusoid signal we have applied, and this is nothing but output signal. And compulsory we have to give the input signal to the channel where X is indicated. That means we are providing to the horizontal deflection plates. So input signal should be given to channel 2 because here X is indicated, and output signal should be given to channel 1 because here Y is indicated. While you are observing XY mode, compulsory we have to give like this only, otherwise the transfer characteristic curve will be shifted 90 degrees. So here X is indicated, so input signal should be given to channel 2. Here Y is indicated, output signal should be given to channel 1. In this way we have given, and we are observing the signals on the CRO screen also, and we can able to measure the voltage, time period and frequency of the signals, and this is okay. And we can able to draw the graph. Next, this is input signal, this is output signal. It is okay. After observing the signals on the CRO screen, just you press this XY button, XY knob. In this way we are going to observe one transfer characteristic curve. While observing this one, first you press both the ground buttons. Whether it is exactly at the center or not, we have to see this electron beam spot. If it is not exactly at center, just move this one. For X position change this one, and Y position you change this one. It is exactly at the center. Now you release the signals. If you release the signals, we are going to get whatever I have explained on the board, that is available here. That is nothing but transfer characteristic curve of the certain circuit. Okay, and that is following that transfer characteristic equation. So depending on that equation, we have drawn this one. So if you observe here, this part is just above the x-axis. That means that is equal to 0.6. If you measure, you can able to get 0.6 only. And after that one, here linearity is there. That means in this portion, input is equal to output. In this portion, output is equal to some constant value, even though input is changing. In this way, we can able to obtain the transfer characteristic curve. And when we are in the XY mode or transfer characteristics, this time knob will not work. If you see here, I am changing the time knob, but no change we are observing on the CRO screen. In order to move the signal horizontally, where X is given, where input signal is given, if you change that one, it is changing like this. Okay. Next, if you change this one, it will be moved vertically. It will be changed, scaled in the vertical manner. If you change this one, it will be scaled in the horizontal manner. Okay. But here time knob is not working. Next, when you are observing two signals, we have to keep the CRO in the dual mode, otherwise only channel 1 will be displayed. Next, whenever you are observing this, whenever you are working with CRO, at first you need to keep all the knobs should be released. Then you need to give some focus knob and some intensity knob. If you, by using this focus, we can able to get the sharpness of the signal. By using this intensity, the brightness will be increased. If you, while you are starting the experiment, if you keep these two in the minimum position, even though you are applying the signal properly, even though circuit is connected properly, you are not going to observe here anything. So all the buttons should be released, and you need to give some intensity and some focus. Then only you can able to observe the signal on the CRO screen. This small button on the time knob must be in the minimum position, otherwise the time period of the signal will be changed. If you observe here, it is at 1, so that means one division, horizontal division is equal to 1 millisecond. If you see the difference between two peaks, here one only we are getting, that means 1 into 1 millisecond. It is correct value because here we have applied 1 kilohertz frequency, that's why here we should get 1 millisecond time period only. If you calculate using CRO, we are getting 1 millisecond only. But if you change this one, if you observe here, I am changing this one, the time period is increasing like this. If you observe the time period, it is larger than the 1 millisecond, so we are going to get a wrong output. So because why it is available like this means it is uncalibrated scale. We need to see the signal in the calibrated scale only, so it will be like this. Next, in case of some signals, like in case of some circuits low pass filter, we need to obtain the rise time of the signal. Rise time in the sense the time taken by the signal to change from 10% of the final value to the 90% of the final value. If you closely observe this CRO screen, here we are observing 0%, 10, 90, 100%. Like this we are getting. So whenever we want to calculate the rise time by using CRO, we need to adjust the signal from 0% to 100%. The peak to peak voltage should be, the peak to peak signal should be available from 0% to 100%, and we have to measure how much time it has been taken to change from 10% to 90% horizontally. Because rise time in the sense time is an x-axis, so we have to measure how much time it has been taken to rise from 10% to 90%. That can be obtained by easily. Rise time can be calculated by the CRO. And in order to check the CRO properly, first you give one probe at it's channel 1 or channel 2. Next, that probe should be positive terminal of the probe should be connecting to these two things. If you connect here, it is indicating that 0.2 volts square wave it will be indicating. If you are getting here 0.2 volts square wave, then the CRO is working properly. Or if you connect here, if you get 2 volts square wave, then it is working properly. Then we can able to go for the experiment. These two are not required in our lab. Actually, these two will be available for the TV operation. Before you switching on the CRO, you should release all the buttons. Then you can able to give power to the CRO. Power supply, that is called RPS. By using this one, we can able to generate 30 volts at maximum. Whenever you want for your circuits DC voltage, we can able to apply for this one. We can able to apply that voltage by using this one. It will provide only DC voltage only. And here coarse knob is there, here fine knob is there. Actually, whenever you want to apply the signal, whenever you want to apply this voltage, we have to give here positive is there, negative is there. Channel 1 is available, channel 2 is available. So we can use any one of these two. Or if you want to do two voltages, in case of CB characteristics, CE characteristics, we need both voltages we can able to use by using this RPS. So here positive is indicated, here negative is indicated. These two we have to give to our circuit where we have to connect. Next, here coarse knob is there, here fine knob is there. So if you increase this fine knob, the voltage will be increased in steps of 0.1 volt only. That means slowly the voltage will be increased. Next, by using this coarse knob, the voltage will be increased in steps of 1 volt. That means at maximum we can able to get 30 volts. At fast rate we can able to increase the voltage. In the slow rate only we can able to increase the voltage. At maximum up to 2 volts or 3 volts only. At maximum. But by using this one, we can able to apply at maximum 30 volts. We can able to apply DC voltage. We can able to apply. Next. So now it is indicating 0 volts. So if you change this fine knob, the voltage increases slowly. 1.3, 1.6 to up to 3 volts only it is generating. So whenever you want to increase the voltage slowly, you use this one. Whenever you want to increase the voltage very fastly or high voltage, then we can able to go for this coarse knob. Maximum it can able to generate up to 30 volts. Voltage also be applied by using this one. node is containing 4 sections. First section, second section, third section, fourth section. In the first section and fourth section there is a separation in the middle. That means the connections which are available left side of this separation are different from the right side connections. Here also same thing. This is first section, second section, third section, fourth section. The connections which are available left side of this one are different from the connections present in the right side. And in the second section, the third section, there is no such type of connections, such type of separations. In case of first section and fourth section, we have to give the connections horizontally. And in case of second section and third section, we have to give the connections vertically. And if you observe in case of this is nothing but breadboard. It is first section, second section, third section, fourth section, and here it is a separation is there in the middle. So connections are already have told these connections are different from these connections, and these connections are different from these connections. This is second section and it is third section. If you observe the first section, here two horizontal rows are available. In the fourth section also two horizontal rows are available. So whenever you want to connect any node is nothing but connection of different branches. So whenever you want to connect a node or junction, that should be in the first section you need to connect a horizontal manner. If you want to connect in the fourth section also, you need to connect a horizontal manner. Remaining circuit we can able to connect in the second section and third section. And in general, section 1 is for connecting the supply positive and section 4 is for the ground. In general, we have to connect like that only, and remaining circuit can be connected in the second section and in the third section. If you observe this second section and third section, here different vertical lines are available. I am saying it is vertical line in the sense we have to connect here in the vertical manner only. Five rows are available. In the third section also 5 rows are available. So in the second section, whenever you want to connect two branches in the second section, you need to select one vertical line in the second section and in the third section. But in case of section 1 and section 4, we have to connect horizontally. Present in the second section or in the third section are representing a node in the circuit. So whenever you need to just identify the node which is present in the circuit that we have to connect. The view of this one will be like this. Here these are vertically shorted. That means this is second section, this is third section. If you see here, these are vertically shorted in the sense if you connect this is second section. If you connect like this, then only this is connected, because here the connection is like this. But if you see first section and fourth section, here horizontal connection are there, not vertical connections. So we have to connect like this. And if you see the separation, if you see here separation is available. That means already I have told left side connections are different from right side connections. So here separation is there, because of that one only we are getting such things. You can take 1 kilo ohm resistor. This is a 1N4007 diode, PN junction diode, silicon based PN junction diode. Here we are applying the input signal. Here we are taking the output signal across the diode. If you observe this signal, here one node is there. At this node, resistor 1 terminal is connected to P side of the diode. This connection we have to give on the CROs. We have to give on the breadboard. If you see, I am selecting 1 kilo ohm resistor is available. So 1 kilo ohm resistor first I am connecting in the second section like this. Already I have told that we have to connect whenever node is there or connection is there, we have to connect vertically only. So this to this terminal I need to connect to P side of the diode. So it is available in this vertical line. In this vertical line already 5 holes are there. In the one hole we have inserted the resistor terminal. Remaining 4 holes can be selected for P side of the diode. In the remaining 4 holes, in any hole we can able to insert the P side of the diode. I am selecting this hole. So that is P side of the diode. Next N side can be given to directly to the ground. So for the ground we need to use fourth section. That's why I have given in the fourth section. And next we have to give the input signal, sinusoidal signal or whatever the signal which is used for this circuit. The signal should be given at the input terminals. Input terminal in the sense the first terminal of the resistor and the ground. That means the signal positive should be given to this resistor, where in which vertical line this resistor first terminal is connected. In that vertical line we have to give, because this is in second section, vertical connections are available. Next the ground should be given where we have given this diode inside. In that horizontal line we have to give, because it is in fourth section. So just to we have to select the vertical lines in the second and third sections, and we have to select the horizontal lines in the first and fourth sections, and we can take the output voltage across the diode by using the probe on the CRO screen. We can able to measure the AC voltage or DC voltage. Now here, if you see here, it is in millivolts. We can able to change this one by pressing this range button. So now it is in volts. It is in volts. It will be in millivolts, like that. According to our application, we can able to use this one, but it is indicating DC. So whenever you want to measure the DC voltage, you can use in this mode only. But whenever you want to change, whenever you want to measure the AC voltage like RMS value, you press this button. Here DC oblique AC is there. So if you press this button, that will be in the voltmeter only, but that will be AC voltmeter, AC mode. So in this way we can able to measure the AC voltage. But whenever you are measuring the AC voltage, the positive terminal should be given in this hole. That means here V is indicated, and negative will be common. Negative is always in this hole only, that is common. But whenever you are measuring the voltage, the probe should be here only. Next, it is indicating ohm symbol. That means by using this one we can able to measure the resistance value also by keeping the terminals of the resistor in ohm is available, that means in this hole, and common. In between these two we have to put, and we can able to identify the resistance value. I want to measure actually. So it is a brown, black, red. That means it is a 1 kilo ohm resistance. Certain tolerance is also available. So plus or minus 5 or 10% we can take. So now it is in ohm meter. It is acting as a ohm meter. That means by using this one we can able to calculate the resistance. It is in kilo ohms range. I can put in mega ohms range also, like this. Depending on our application we can able to use. So it is in the kilo ohms. So the two terminals of the resistor can be connected like this. If you connect like this, it will indicate the value of the resistance. So it is indicating 0.95 kilo ohms. That means approximately 1 kilo ohm. This difference we are getting due to the tolerance. Okay. Next, that means we can able to check whether the diode is working properly or not also. Here diode symbol will come whenever you are putting in this mode. So again same procedure, the P side of the diode is connected where V is available in that hole, and N side is connected in the common. Now it is indicating 431. Here V is indicated. That means it is approximately the cut-in voltage of the diode. Okay, so whenever you are getting like this, it is okay. Next we will see this reverse bias checking also. Diodes, you need to get overload, because in the reverse bias there is no current, that will be open circuit. That's why you are getting like it. Okay, now this diode is, by using this one capacitor value we can able to identify frequency, temperature. HFE means transistor beta value. Next, whenever you want to use this one as ammeter means in order to measure the current, microamps range is there, milliamps range is there, amps range is there. If you see the forward bias characteristics of the PN junction diode, in that case the diode current is large, that is in the order of milliamps. So you should keep the ammeter in the milliamps mode only, then you can able to do the forward bias operation. And reverse bias characteristics of the PN junction diode means since less current is flowing in the reverse bias, that is in the order of microamps, we should keep the ammeter in the microamps mode only. While using this one as micro ammeter or milliammeter as ammeter, we should keep the positive terminal of the positive probe in this hole, because here milliamps is written, and negative will be automatically to the common. Okay, symbol is like this. If you take NPN transistor, here one circle is also available. It is collector P side, N type. Next base is P type, and emitter is N type. This is NPN transistor BC107 for example. So we can able to identify the current gain of this one, that is beta value, by using this multimeter. You need to keep this multimeter in the HFE mode. So after keeping this one, if you observe here, emitter base collector or emitter base collector, like this we are observing the holes. After identifying this terminals of the transistor, which this is emitter and this is base, this is collector. Actually, if you see the transistor, it will be like this. Here 3 terminals will be there, 1, 2, 3, and here one notch is available. What is the terminal which is nearest to the notch? That is emitter, and we have to go clockwise direction. After emitter we are going to get base, after that we are going to get collector. After identifying the terminals of the transistor, just keep where emitter is there in that whole base collector, then it will indicate the current gain of the transistor.